Ah, I know that sullen look all too well. You've seen it all on the material plane, haven't you? Goblin dens, dragon hordes, dusty tombs, taverns, and tripwire traps. It's all the same old tale by now. Sounds to me like it's time for a break from adventuring. But I'm betting the usual locales just won't cut it. You want something weird, right? Lakes of blinking eyeballs, feasting halls which stretch over the horizon, bottomless pits and mountain peaks which loom far overhead. What you seek is an interplanar vacation. Well, allow me to guide you on your way toward the choicest destinations in all the multiverse. There are myriad wonders out there to behold, so let's get down to the top 5 planar vacation destinations. But before we begin, be sure to hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more Freakopolis content. In all those many daring adventures of yours, it seems inevitable your coin purse will be near to bursting with gold. There's a lot of loot out there, after all. But after you've hauled a king's ransom worth of wealth back to your keep, you may start to wonder, what am I possibly going to spend all this treasure on? Well, if that's a question which lingers on your mind, allow me to introduce you to the bustling city of Brass. Being the home of the vibrant Ifrit people, the markets and bazaars of this remarkable city are fabled for their vast selection of magical goods. Want a talking half-dragon, half-kitten companion? Or maybe a blade which can strike down the mightiest of demon lords? Perhaps a potion capable of regrowing that thinning hairline? All of this and more can be found with ease. Though, it's best to make certain your bargaining skills are up to snuff before perusing these stalls. The cost of goods in the city of Brass can't always be paid in coin alone. Also, that's nothing to speak of the brilliant local architecture. Ornate spires, capped with crimson and gold, arcanely sculpted to evoke the ever-moving nature of flame. Metallic walls of immeasurable value, radiant with an inner light. And overlooking it all, the mighty and imposing charcoal palace throne of the Ifrit Sultan who rules this realm. But there's even more to see here too. The entire city borders the Great Sea of Fire, where the mighty brass fleet of the Ifrit sails atop a vast, shimmering ocean of eternal flame. How about that for some sightseeing? Are you fond of an orderly day? Nothing out of place, everything just as you planned it. Do you, perhaps, like parades? Welcome to Mechanus. Everything runs like clockwork here, quite literally. The locals keep it that way. It's actually their only goal in life, so you can rest easy knowing that you'll never get confused about the simple things, like where you last parked your chariot. Speaking of the locals, the quirky Modrons in their many form and their god Primus are a boatload of fun. They won't mind your presence as long as you stay out of the way of their unknowable machinations. And that means you can grab a front row seat to some of the wildest displays in all the multiverse. Why does that one have 20 legs? Why is that one building a mechanical bird? Who knows? But one thing is for certain. It's some of the best people watching in all the realms. The greatest display you'd be lucky enough to witness, however, is the Great Modron March, a parade across the plains. Once every 289 years, the largest of all the gears on Mechanus makes a single rotation, marking the beginnings of this celebration of sorts. Thousands upon thousands of monodrones are shepherded by their greater siblings across the multiverse, through lands both beautiful and hostile. Sadly, few will survive the rigors of this journey. Still, the sight itself is inspiring in a way. Get your timing just right. You may very well be there to watch it all kick off with your own eyes. Maybe you're more of the outdoorsy type. If that's the case, gaze upon the twin-layered beauty that is Bytopia. We've actually got 2 realms in one to explore here. Dothion, a land of meadows and forests suspended in a perfect spring, and Sharak, a rugged and mountainous expanse with some truly intense weather. No matter which of these 2 you choose, I'm afraid you won't be spending your time in the evening stargazing. Instead, you'll be staring up upon the gorgeous landscape of the other plane you're not currently standing atop. Dothion and Sharak are literally layered as one another's sky, always suspended parallel to their partner. About 10 miles of air separates the 2, so if you can fly or even climb high enough, gravity will do the rest and transfer you on over. Just be careful about that landing. The wildlands of Bytopia are aglow with a radiance which brings comfort to good-aligned creatures. Your alignment is something good, right? Well, if it isn't, camp around long enough and you may very well wake up with a whole new disposition. Also, be warned, the local animals are not for hunting. Though they can't speak, they are intelligent, and they're actually, super nice too, you monster. Instead, just ask one of the local solars or planetars for a sample of their home cooking. One particular spiced nut bread originating from Bytopia has even spread to become an interplanar delicacy. Some of the most captivating views in all the multiverse can be found on the elemental plane of air. In fact, one's viewing distance generally doubles here, permitting you to behold the sapphire majesty of this skybound domain. If you don't possess wings, worry not. There is solid ground, and even cities to be found here as well. One of the most beautiful and mysterious of these locales is the windswept city of Aqua, home of the Vati people. Long-lived and immensely powerful, the Wind Dukes of Aqua, who watch over the city, maintain their own kingdom amidst the clouds. Their efforts have produced immense palaces with verdant gardens and impenetrable fortresses lined with silver towers, all of which have stood for millennia. Aloof, yet not unkind in the slightest, the Vati and their masters don't mind reasonable guests. In fact, some actually mistake their kind for angels from time to time. Another warning, however. Many of the denizens of this plane are invisible. From aerial servants to invisible stalkers, try to avoid any awkward interactions by staying vigilant for vague outlines in the air nearby. Or better yet, find yourself a magic item which bypasses invisibility altogether. Also, they'll be really insulted if you start shouting, "By the gods, it's a ghost!" So try and avoid doing that if you can. You can spend your leisurely days wandering these winding streets and gazing toward sheer silken banners billowing and bringing form to the breeze overhead, lounging about in the Duke's gardens. Or you can simply kick your feet off the edge of a cloud and take in the maelstroms and tornadoes which rage in the distance. One way or another, it's very zen. Alright, so this one is a little more difficult to recommend so readily. You really have to know what you're doing in the Feywild. Things may appear enchanting here, but that's even more true than you may first realize. You see, there are a plethora of wondrous things in the Fey. Frogmen singing in chorus from atop a stage of huge lily pads, grasses which sheen with all the colors of the rainbow, an everdusk of purple and yellow which stretches across the sky, boundless, endless. It is the realm in which the Seelie and Unseelie courts reside, with balls and celebrations so grand they put the richest of noble feasts from the material plane to shame. The thing is, in spite of all its beauty, there's a sinister underbelly to the Fae. It can be awfully dangerous here, even more so than the other places we've listed. And unless you're extra wary, even the most innocent encounter can prove to have terrible consequences. Find yourself speaking with a single monocled rabbit one moment, and you might end up stumbling upon a lengthy, unwanted adventure the very next. Set your gaze upon a lone water nymph, and you may very well end up forgetting your purpose for being here in the first place. Or your very name. You might even forget... Wait a minute. What was I talking about again? Fortunately, the Fae and the material are pretty intertwined. Just find a new ring of mushrooms to leap into, and I'm sure it will all work out in the end. Right, well, thank you for joining us on this tour across the plains. We'll catch you next time.